Dad. Dad.
What?
Why are you tying it to here?
Because I need it to stay there.
And hold it.
Okay, you can hold it.
shovel, Dad. And Dad, here's another one. So you have the...
Okay, we're gonna put it right about here. That way, just a little bit. Hey, hey, that way, just a little bit. A little bit more. That should be good. All right, stay there. Here you go. Yep, more that way. A little bit more. Good. Nope, too much. Back that way. Good. Perfect.
Another one right there.
Right here?
Yep. Do another one right there.
I was coming out of the side road when he was coming up the main road. Hey! Is that ready to go? You got the coming alongs?
Yeah.
Rakes?
I got the full float. I got trowels.
Hey!
I got gloves too. You don't use gloves? My hands just dry up and up.
do that. No, I want that one actually. You want that one? So which one do you want? You keep switching, bruh. Actually, this one doesn't work that well. It's not working as well, but it's moving. Or it could be. Look at that. Wait, how about that way I was going? Okay. Can I do that? I don't know why it wasn't working for you. It's working fine for me. Can I have it now? Hold on. There you go. Honey. The problem is that this wood is just so pointy. Like just the.
Here, let me see. Show you. You hold it like on a little bit of an upward angle, and you follow the wood. Yeah, you gotta get around that, and nice and light, nice and easy, and then bring it back. Same thing, all the way around it.
Oh.
Like that. See?
So that's why it probably has that little lip at the front.
Yes. So it hugs the wood, and see what it's doing? Yeah. So when you take the forms off, the concrete's not gonna break, because it would break right here because it sticks to the wood.
Oh.
You know? So now you're edging it, and you're edging it off the wood. See, now that looks.
I always wondered how the corners
looks
were
good.
so round.
Yeah. So that part of it is good. You see how there's no holes? See how you got this? You gotta fill that. You gotta fill that in with either a little bit more concrete, or keep running the joiner over it like so.
Oh.
And we gotta get rid of that piece of broken wood here.
Wait, this is like the left. This one's just moving.
You gotta push harder. Good job. Here, take these off right here.
Oh, okay.
Good job. All right, now take these out right here. Actually, take this one out right here. You gotta be straight and push. Good job. There we go. All right, so we just got here. This is the third time of coming up. So this has had a few weeks secure, and I'm gonna go ahead and drill for my rebar, my verticals coming up, 2 feet long. So they'll be sticking up about 16, 18 inches or so. And what I need to do before that is drive the skid steer on here and fill in this area with number 2 stone. I just have a couple buckets left, so I'll just fill this area right here, put a little bit maybe right here. And this area we need to leave because I want a waterproof between the slab and the rock here. So we'll leave that bare for right now. And I just dumped a bunch of water here just to see what it would do. But that'll dry up pretty soon, and then we'll seal this area. We can actually do that after we lay the ICFs. That way we can also seal to the ICF as well. We're gonna waterproof everything. Go ahead.
up a lot. I'm really bad.
You remember building our house like this?
Me?
Yeah.
What?
That's how we built our house, remember? You remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that. I think I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
So a lot of these blocks that I'm using are left over from other projects. So like this one doesn't have any teeth on the bottom, so I had to kind of shim it off the bottom a little bit. You can see there's almost an inch of space there. So I shimmed it up where I want. Now I'm just going to spot foam it. And I like to use this window and door foam because it doesn't expand. Because if you use the expanding type, it could push up the whole thing. I also find it better to just spot foam it, let that dry, and then foam in the whole thing. So the reason why you want two of them stacked together is because both of them lock together and kind of help out the unequalness of the slab, which it's not much on here, but it's just a good practice to lock them together. That way they'll float over the low spots together. Also, it keeps the joints locked tight together. When you have just a single course, it's hard to keep those joints perfect. And what ends up happening is then you go to put a piece over it, and since the joint's not perfect and it's set, now it has a hard time locking in that second piece. So it takes a little bit of time on the first and second course, but like I said, after that you just fly right along. It's kind of a no thinking thing after that. Don't have to worry about delicately setting anything. You just sort of slam the blocks in place. So I know a lot of people are going to question, why didn't I put the rebar in? It doesn't make sense, right? Well, hear me out. When you put a bend going around the corner, if that bend on the piece of rebar is not 100% at 90 degrees, then that's going to influence your wall, and you're not going to be able to straighten it out. There's just a little bit of give in between these, because that's a little bit bigger than the 1/2 inch rebar I'm going to put in. But trust me when I say, it's a lot easier to get this set, foam it in, let it cure. That way it will not move. And then you put your rebar in. Because otherwise that piece of rebar, the one that you put in the corner especially, could tweak that wall and you can't push it back. But once it's set, like it is now, it's no problem to put that in there, and you kind of bend the rebar to the shape of it as you're putting it in. Like as you're putting it in, if you feel that it's not going to fit, you just bend the piece of rebar just a little bit more by hand and then put it in there. Whereas if you're laying this out and it's not in place yet, you don't really know exactly where it's supposed to be. You could put marks on the ground, but it's just so much easier to do this. Trust me, I just built a whole house out of these things. So I think I would know what I'm talking about. So you can see it only took me like 2 minutes to put this back together, maybe 2 minutes to pull it apart, not a big deal. I don't think I mentioned it before, but I only had 4 corners, and I wasn't gonna order some because it's a big deal to get these. You gotta get them on a pallet, which means freight, and to get one pallet, it could be $500 in shipping, which would be more than the pallet is worth. But you can use regular pieces to make the corners. You just have to strap it on the outside with some 2x4s. So I'll take a 2x4, maybe 3 or 4 feet long, bring it this way, 3 or 4 feet long, bring it this way, screw them together, and then that way it holds the corner from going out. I had plenty of these forms, but not a lot of corners. So that's totally fine, we'll make it work. All right, so that's the last row of blocks. So what I want is for this to pitch very slightly downhill this way, because that's gonna be the front. So we wanna pitch most of the water back here, but I'm talking like maybe 3 inches on the 14 feet, not a whole lot. So instead of using an extra half a yard of concrete to slope that and make it 6 inches here and 3 inches here, what I'm gonna do is actually just slope the ceiling inside. Yeesh. Not a fan. Get out of here. Okay, so on top of this door, I'm making a 1 inch or at least 1 inch buffer between the concrete and the wood so that the wood doesn't condensate from the cold concrete. So I did 1.5 inches on the sides just because that's what I had. And what I'm gonna do, and the reason I'm not using the build buck, it's like the styrofoam bucks on the door, is because in the past I've done that on my house and they're just not strong enough for a door, because when people start slamming doors, they just don't hold up because they're just plastic and styrofoam, and you really want something a little bit more solid for a door. For windows they work great. So I'm doing pressure treated bucks, and I'm just making a buffer between that and the concrete. Because I did do a pressure treated buck on my basement door and it worked good, but it didn't have a buffer. So it does get a little bit of condensation when it's really cold. I'll just use up the rest of the can on all these gaps here. There's all kinds of gaps here, so just use it up. So over top of that door and the window, we need what's called a lintel. It's basically just a header, because you don't want just solid concrete in there with a couple pieces of rebar going horizontally. It may be okay, but you really need stirrups to connect a horizontal piece on the bottom and a horizontal piece on the top. So that's what these are. So basically what you want is a piece of 1/2 inch going across the top. You want to hang this on it, and then wherever this bottom piece is right here, that's where you want to put your bottom piece of horizontal rebar, and it just rests on here. That way it's snug to the bottom of this. So the same thing there. We're just going to put 2 pieces like 4 feet long, connect them with this. So since we already have this piece of rebar right here, we're going to use this for the top. We're just going to hang our other piece from it. So since I want dirt to be surrounding this whole thing, on the sides and on the top, I want to put 12 to 16 inches of dirt on the top, maybe in the center, and then even less on the sides, just so that there's dirt all on the top. I'm also going to put some insulation on the top, but you guys will see that later. I want this thing absolutely super insulated, but in order to have dirt on the top, I need somewhere for it to stop going this way. So I'm going to add one more layer of ICF on the top. I'm going to try to stack some stones on the sides, so that will hold some of the dirt. And then I also want to make it circular. So I don't want it to just be square on the top. I want it to kind of have a radius to it. And then I'm also going to have a roof. But I decided, rather than get involved in doing that with concrete, because that is a long span with concrete, I could make it work, but it would need to be like 10 inches thick, at least on the front, as like a beam on the front. And I don't feel like doing that. So rather than do that, I'm gonna use probably 2x6s going across on like 8 inches on center. And because I know 2x6 isn't really long enough for that, but if you put enough of them, it is. But I want the ICFs to go above that roof to stop the dirt in all directions. This next layer of ICF is basically just gonna be there just to stop the dirt, that's it. Alright, so I decided instead of using the top of the forms to screed off of, I decided to put 2 inches over top of it. The reason being is I want to waterproof this whole thing. So if I run the concrete right up to here, then this part right here is going to have a crack because this is expanding and contracting at a different rate than the concrete, and this crack is always going to be here. I don't think it's a big deal because I'm going to put the fabric over it, the reinforcement fabric, and then I'm going to put the elastomeric paint. So it's probably not a big deal, but I just figured it would be better to bring the concrete out to the edge. That way the crack would be here on the side instead of on the top. I just think that's a better practice, although I don't think it totally 100% makes 1000% difference, but I just figured, you know what, this is also easier to screed than this is. This is a nice smooth board where this is kind of rough and it's got little jagged edges and stuff. So I just cut this down 2 inches, set this, and I got a 1/4 inch per foot slope from front to back. And so right now what I'm doing is I'm putting these build clips in, that's what they're called. And basically, see, it just gives it support. There's little holes, there's a hole right there, and there's a hole right there. And this thing makes it so that this part here can't bow out. It doesn't have, I don't think it has much strength for pushing on it, because this will bend if you push it, but for pulling, it gives it that, it gives it the strength to not have this wall pull out. They're really easy to put in. It's a little easier to do it with 2 hands, but they're just these little clips, and they got like a little like bend on them so that they kind of stay in place once you put them in there. And they're super cheap, and they make it so that this wall doesn't need support. Like in the past, what I've done is I've brought 2x4s down like 3 feet, and then that will hold it from bowing out, but that's a lot of work. Just having this board in here is all I really need. Actually, we don't even need that in here. Could just screed off the top.
Nah, bro, we did not get Patrick. There was no Patrick.
Huh?
You're using a car as a truck.
Yes, that's correct.
Dying hot.
That's what's killing me is the
Hold
slope.
on.
It's just
Wanna-
bringing it below everything. That's about 1.25 inches there.
Can you bring this up at all?
I could, but
I don't want
I
to.
really don't want the water.
What's going in here?
I'm gonna fill that with solid foam,
Oh, okay.
and then I'll just leave it like an inch low,
What?
so that later I can just put a little bit
You
of
have to
cement all
follow
over
me
top of
now.
it.
Because look up.
Can you
Out.
put this back
Every
in here?
time I try
Yeah, I guess I
going,
could really use anything in there if it's like insulation wise.
'Cause that's where that concrete's gonna come. Is it gonna stop
Yeah.
down here, or is it just gonna keep?
It's
going
gonna
this
flow
way?
down. That's why I gotta fill it in with a bunch. For right now, all I really need to do is make it so it doesn't flow out.
Right.
All over here doesn't matter because I'll just deal with that later.
But the concrete will definitely push this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna need something in there to keep this from, because that pressure coming on here,
Yeah.
that definitely will push that out.
Yeah. Well,
I would
maybe
say-
I'll just.
I would say take some of these rocks and set them in after you spray foam, and this
Yeah.
way.
Well, actually, I should do it even before I spray foam.
Yeah.
There you go, Noah. There's your bomb.
Yep, just like that, this way.
Is that a boogie bomb or a regular bomb?
boogie bomb, boogie bomb.
Maybe too big.
We better hope you're not around when you throw the boogie bomb, because then you'll start boogieing.
I'm just gonna try to do 4 or 5 feet the rest of the way around. There's no reason not to. I think even it's still a little bit dry.
There should be more water.
Yeah. I mean, it's all right for the walls, but it's going to set up quick in the sun. That's the problem. I told them to put 2 hours of retarder in it, so that'll hopefully help a little bit. And also, we don't need to finish it either, so that helps. I like to keep it back from the corner about 4 feet and pour it into the corner, kind of.
Right.
I just hope he has enough slope, because now he's downhill a little bit. How's that corner looking over there? If you look on the outside.
About 5 feet down.
Okay.
Four blocks down.
Yeah.
That could be 6 feet.
When it gets to about 4 feet, we'll have him move it. When it gets to about 4 feet, we'll have him move it. Actually, he could probably move it now.
Now.
He's still got quite a bit of an angle on that. Let's fill in the rest of the wall. You can go a little faster.
Fill that wing wall in too.
Yeah. Maybe I should just...
Yeah.
I think we'll get the rest when we pour this top part here. Let's just start filling in the slab from that corner this way. Yeah, kind of. Just do a little bit there and then back up. This whole slab on the top only is 1.3 yards. That's it. I'm gonna have him put, it's a little low over there, right?
Yeah.
Can you back up a little bit and go that way just a little bit? I guess we should probably just do just another screed on this.
That's enough.
Yep.
We got plenty up here.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yep. I also got to make sure I get this vibrated too.
Yeah.
I got to get in here and do that. It's more important than anything. I got it. I mean, I was happy with this before I even started screeding, so. It's just gonna get buried underneath the dirt anyways. All right, so we haven't been up here in almost a month since we poured this. We actually left a couple hours after we poured this, and we haven't been back up since. And we're kind of late in the day here, so I can't really get a whole lot done. I actually had to replace an injector on that truck this morning, so we were planning on leaving first thing, but I had to drive an hour there and an hour back to a store to get an injector, and then I had to put it in, and then we finally made it here. So it's just about dark now. I am standing on the slab of which we poured almost a month ago, and so since it's been 30 days or very close to it, I'm going to start removing all of the formwork, which really, that stuff can come off immediately, a couple hours after you pour it. But the shoring inside, they say you should keep it there for 30 days. I think 2 weeks is minimum, but it's been almost a month, so it's definitely safe to take all this shoring out. Tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and start waterproofing everything, so I need to get this prepared so that I can start waterproofing it.
Are you enjoying this?
I would not do that.
Noah?
Let me up, Dad. Dad, let me up.
Let me up. Almost.
Don't stand near the edge.
This is actually pretty fun.
Alright, so since it gets dark pretty early, it's actually still pretty early in the night, and me and Caden have been out here working on getting these boards off of here. Caden's up there. Caden, poke your head out. Oh, you can't see you. Yep, all I can see is a light, that's it.
Oh, all this is stuck to my pocket because my pocket is full of screws.
Oh, the magnet?
Yeah. I went down like that and it stuck to my pocket and I was wondering why.
Well, be safe up there.
I will.
Alright, so I'm down here working on getting some of this shoring out. And I do have some light in here. It's very echoey. But if you guys remember, this wall is going to stay here. Everything else is going to go. All this stuff. I was going to keep this here for like joists to hang stuff with, like lights, but I just don't think it's necessary. I'm going to take all this down. And the plywood too. I'm going to take that down too. I thought that would be a good idea, but then I got to attach it somehow. And I was going to put Tapcons going through it into the joist, but I just don't feel like doing that. I'm just going to do it like I did at my house, where I just leave foam, and then if I want to put something up there, I'll take strips of plywood and glue them up there with Gorilla Construction adhesive. But for right now, I'd like to run like wires and stuff for lights, so I need to get that plywood out of there. Do you have to do that to a lot of boards?
Yeah.
They're sunk too deep. That's those screws that we had to go to Walmart in the middle of the night to get. They're junk. I think they're grip right or something. You gotta sink them halfway through the board for them to start pulling. I knew that was gonna be a nightmare taking them out.
Yeah,
I was trying to get GRK, but Lowe's closed too early. I think it was a Sunday.
Oh, the a couple of the ones in the board, in both of these boards had
The black screws?
yeah,
Yeah, those are the grip right screws.
they're horrible.
You gotta sink a screw right next to it and then pull it out, otherwise it pulls the board out with it. Takes like 5 times as long to take them out.
Yeah, these ones.
Yeah.
These stupid ones. Horrible.
Hey, you're doing dangerous stuff there in that ladder, boy.
How?
You're not supposed to stand on the top rung. Whoops. Catch that.
What?
Catch it.
Please, you put these
Oh
in.
man, I think it's your light. Yeah, your light is just messing this up. Hold on. Oh, it's so much better. Here, hold this.
I also forgot one right here. Wow, nice catch. Now it should be easy.
Oh, there's a window. Oop, I still got one.
Yeah, you forgot the top.
All right, so on this side right here, if you remember, we poured it right on top of bedrock. So also the bedrock kind of slopes down to it, kind of worst case scenario, really. So we are above it with the slab. So even if we have water here, it shouldn't be a problem because it'll all drain out this way. So the bedrock goes this way and it goes this way. So that's good because at least the water's going this way, but it is also going that way. So what I want to do here is put some hydraulic cement along this perimeter right here and then waterproof it to the bedrock, because yeah, the water will go underneath the slab, but the slab will still wick the water and then you'll have slight condensation problems. So what I'd like to do is just kind of get the water away from the building by making like a small angle going this way with the hydraulic cement. So I'm going to be using Cementol, which is really good stuff. You guys have seen me use that in the past. I've used it for all different kinds of stuff. It dries really quickly. It's waterproof. It's super expensive, but it works really good. It's worth it. And of course, it said it was supposed to be sunny, warm, and not raining. And it's raining, it's not sunny, it's not warm. So I don't know what happened with the Weather Channel, but we're gonna make the best of it. All right, so finally I'm making some progress here. So that blue stuff right there is actually a thin foam insulation, and I got it for free actually. About an hour away from here, closer to here than it is to my regular house. These people were giving away rolls of this stuff for free, and it's not like styrofoam, but it's like a foam, and it's about almost a 1/4 inch thick, and it's got a heavy thick layer of plastic on the one side. I'd say that's probably about, I don't know, 8 or 10 mil. And so this roll is like 300 feet long. I think it's about 5 feet tall. So wow, what a deal. All I had to do is spend 2 hours going to get it, and I got 2 rolls like that. And basically that's just going to protect that waterproofing on there. Give it like a cushion for any little rocks that fall on it. So this is the extent of the dirt that I made so far. So I got to go back over there with the rock bucket, shake down a bunch more of it, and then keep filling this up. My goal is to fill up this side for today, and then we got to leave. We're going to come back next week. But it's getting really cold, so I got to really get on this. The waterproofing is the biggest problem, because you got to have 40-degree weather at least. 50 is better. But we don't have much of that anymore, so I really got to hustle. I've been hustling. Swing it right over to the foundation. Put it right against the wall. Good job. Got that thing at full throttle, huh? Just the swinging. Alright, so I went away for a few weeks. We came back and I want to do some more work, but we have a few problems. Number one, a hose blew in this machine, so I won't have any use of this for a little while until I get that fixed. And that won't be till next time I'm up, so I have no excavator right now, which means I can't do anything for this site work here. I need to get rid of those trees, this tree, this rock, all this stuff to be able to get around and backfill. So I kind of have to change plans here. Also, another thing, it's getting so cold right now that it's not staying above freezing at night. So the waterproofing is having a hard time drying. So right now I have like 2 days left of above freezing weather, and I want to get the rest of this waterproofed. Alright, so I'm just having a really hard time over here without the excavator. I'm kind of useless with the skid steer. There's like a giant rock right there that I keep slipping on, and it just keeps sliding me towards the foundation. It's funny, anytime you have something that you can't hit, it just sucks you into that way. Like it sucks you into the foundation and it sucks you towards the excavator there. Just, it's not fun. I need that excavator. I need to move some of these big rocks out of my way at least. Then I can get over here and do something. But even getting over here, I can't do much with the skid steer without a grapple or something. Just pushing everything out of my way, I guess. But the excavator with the thumb will make nice easy work out of all these trees. We'll have this nice looking, but I just got to give up on it for now. The only thing I think I can do is set a few more rocks over here for the retaining wall, because that's the last thing I was doing on the excavator before I blew a hose on it. So I dug this out. I was about to set a rock here and then I blew a hose, so maybe I can go grab a rock with the skid steer, set it in here, and then backfill behind it. So here we are, like 3 weeks later. Yeah, there's snow on the ground. We got a little bit of snow at my house, but nothing happened. Up here, I've been checking the cameras. This snow has been here for 2 weeks now. Crazy. It's the middle of November. And I finally got the hose for this machine, so now this thing's up and running. So now we can actually use this, which was really limiting me before. I couldn't do anything without this. Not only could I not do anything, but it was also in the way too. You guys saw me try to do some stuff over here. It just wasn't working. So I got to get these trees moved out of the way. These rocks, all this stuff, just got to get out of here. And putting a new hose in that machine was an absolute nightmare. Getting it out was worse, because it was a pilot hose and it went through the floor, and there's this like rubber coupling that you have to go through, and man, what a nightmare. It took me hours to get that thing out of there. Putting a new one in, it had a smaller fitting on it, so it worked out better, but all right, so the sun's going down. We'll get some more done tomorrow. But before it gets totally dark, what I'd like to do is drill a couple holes in this foundation here. I have a core drill. I brought my big core drill, which gets mounted to the wall, and I brought my small one. I think I only need the small one though. With this ICF, you can kind of angle the core drill in slightly to start it, and then once it's kind of got a little bit of a grip in there, you can just kind of straighten it out and push it right through, and the ICF actually helps you do that. So with the smaller core drill, I don't need to mount it to the wall, and it doesn't jump all around too. So the reason I need to do some core drilling here is, number one, I want to put a small drain down there just for gray water that just goes into the pipe that's already there. That's just to put like a little tiny sink for washing your hands or something in that little utility room. The other two holes that I want to do is going to be for ventilation. One for intake and one for exhaust. And we're just going to use a 2-inch PVC pipe for that. But the 2-inch PVC pipe is only to go through the wall. Once it goes through the wall, it's going to have a 4-inch triple wall pipe for about 100 feet. And it's going to go below the frost line so that the air gets heated up in the wintertime and gets cooled down in the summertime. So it should, in theory, provide not only ventilation, but a little bit of warmth and a little bit of cooling. So I was going to make the intake go through about 4 feet up right here, and I was going to shoot straight that way with it. But I'm not totally set on that yet. Kind of depends on what it looks like working my way down there. I may actually come out and shoot it around this way and go down that way. But the exhaust can just come out a few feet and then go up. It doesn't really need to go that far. Alright, so I wasn't going to get involved in the earth tubes this time. I was going to do it on the next video, which is still probably several months away. But I don't know, I just kind of figured that I should probably dig it at least halfway, 60 feet, 70 feet, something like that, because I want 100 feet altogether. I probably got all of 60 feet here. I didn't want to like grade this all out real nice and then have to go back and dig it all up to put the earth tubes in, so I might as well just put it in now, which is not going to hurt, because using this thing in the wintertime, like if we have somebody coming up to snowmobile with us, it would be nice to have that in there. I was testing things out in there, and the cold air coming in from that, which is required to keep the CO2 down in there, 30-degree air coming in is making it so you have to use a lot of heat in there to keep it up to temperature. So I'd like it to be like 50-degree air coming in on those earth tubes, which is what it should be if it's buried 5 feet deep. So we're kind of done for this trip here, so we're going to come up in another week and we'll continue on. I expect it to be done long before now, but the backfilling and waterproofing is just an astronomical amount of work, especially when you don't have weather that's cooperating. All right, so I made it 60 feet. I wanted to go 100 feet, but the problem is I got a giant piece of bedrock right there, and I need to get around it, which means I need to go that way, which means I need to clear all that away, clear some trees. I just don't feel like getting involved in that. It's like a half a day worth of work right there. Plus, I was also hitting the drainage right here too, so I don't want to be doing that while I'm in a rush. I think we're just going to end it here. I'm going to put a 90 here, take this 10-footer, stick it up out of the ground, good to go. Next year when I get a little bit of time, we can extend this into the woods over there and maybe even go a little more than 100 feet. But I think 60 feet of 4-inch pipe for that little tiny building, it will add enough heat where it won't be freezing coming in. And remember, we're only going with a 2-inch pipe inside of there, and I think it's pushing something like 60 something CFM. So 60 something CFM through a 4-inch pipe. There's lots more surface area on the 4-inch pipe for it to heat it up. So may not be the best, but it'll definitely be better than coming straight in or buying a $1,000 ERV or HRV. I really just didn't feel like spending that kind of money on this little building just for air. So what I'm going to do is drill a couple holes into 90 coming up, because everything is pitched down to here. So the water's going to collect there and eventually it'll block the pipe. So I want to just put a couple little holes down there just to let the water drain out. And luckily, right underneath that 90 is where I have my footing drains. So it will drain pretty easily. Plus it's sand around here anyways. Also, with that 10-foot stick sticking out of the ground there, it'll be very easy to locate it later and very carefully dig around it. It's not like I'm just burying the pipe and then trying to find it again. Alright, so at this point I am desperately trying to find some dirt to fill this in. I need at least 100 yards, probably more like 150, possibly even like 200, I don't know. But I need a lot of dirt, and a lot of the dirt can have rocks in it, that's fine. It doesn't need to be screened. All I need to do is screen the stuff that goes against the foundation over there for that little bunker. But I was trying to find stuff within arm's reach of the excavator as to not have to use the skid steer, because it's a lot of traveling back and forth with the skid steer. I tried that whole area and it was nothing but boulders. I could not get any clean stuff out of there. The only thing I pulled out of there was all these boulders. That was it. So at this point, I think the only thing I can do is try to work another spot to try to get the good stuff, because there's good sand in some spots here. I know there is. It's just I need to find it. Bring it all the way up. So it's like overlapping by maybe 6 inches. we have this pitched up in the middle. It's humped that way and it's humped this way. So everything is gonna come that way and this way and that way. So like that's the highest point and it just sort of tapers down all directions from there. force coming out of it, but it just kind of is what it is. biggest thing is just getting it on the wall. Up to the water. I don't know. This looks like it could probably cover the whole thing. We need to keep the floor clean though. I did bring a sponge. Alright, so as you guys can see, it's starting to snow. We are in for a blizzard. It's going to snow for the next week every day. We're going to get several feet of snow. And I don't think that snow is ever going to let off the ground until the spring. So I wanted to do a little bit more work to this. But we're going to have to stick to inside work from now on because there's just going to be no more outside work after today. I think we got it just good enough though, where we can handle the rest in the spring. But at least everything is waterproof. I got a roof over the porch now, solar roof. Those are 2 bifacial panels, 405 watts a piece. So the next project is going to be working on the inside here. We've already actually had some guests here, and I'm starting to get my utility room set up. I got my backup power in there right now. Renogy 2000 watt inverter and a server rack battery. So we're going to move my whole power system into here. That's going to be a big project in itself. I'm going to have 2 inverters back to back that are linked in parallel. I already have a very small diesel heater in here, which I was going to use the electric heat, but it just uses a lot of power because one thing that I had to do was put some ventilation in here, and I'll get into that in the next video. But basically, we got the ventilation that needs to be running. And if you have 2 or 3 people in here, that's running the whole time. And actually, I'm gonna fire up this thing right now and show you what's going on with it. So I got this CO2 monitor right here. And basically, you preset this to whatever you want for it to turn on. So it measures the CO2 level. And I have it set for turning on at 1500 parts per million ppm. And so basically when it senses 1500 ppm, it turns on this vent right here, which brings in air from the outside. And this is my exhaust right here, which I'm gonna put like a flapper on there, like a check valve type of thing, just so air doesn't come back in. But even the exhaust, I dug 10 feet that way so that the frost doesn't creep its way in through that. So you can see right now we're at 400. I was just over right next to the sensor and I was breathing, so now it's climbing a little bit. So when it reaches 1500, it'll turn this on, and I have it set to turn off at 900. And so basically when you have a few people in here with the door closed, that thing's running non-stop, which it's not bringing in crazy cold air because it is underground for almost 70 feet. So it's bringing in maybe 40 degree, 45 degree air. But still, it cools it down pretty quick in here with that on, and with the electric heater, you're just using a lot of power to do that. So the diesel heater works so much better. That just, on the lowest setting, this is a 2 kW diesel heater, and on the lowest setting, that is enough to keep it 68 degrees in here. And it's also automatic and Bluetooth and everything else, so that works out a lot better. So now we have a place for other people to stay, to come up and snowmobile. Nobody's gonna be living here, obviously, but once in a while somebody stays in here. It's not a big deal. It's just like a shed. So I built a bed frame that's 2 feet off the ground. So now we have all that storage underneath, and I'm gonna build compartments or drawers that slide all the way out, that are like the full height or close to the full height. So we can put tons of stuff down there and just pull everything out, push it back when we're done. That way that's not wasted space right there. And then I was thinking maybe a small table right here. We got the dehumidifier. And then also I have like this portable toilet right here. So when people are in here, they can close this door, and obviously there will be some lights. They can close this door and they can have a little bathroom. I also have the drain that I put in over there, so maybe I'll put in a small urinal. Maybe not though, I'm not sure. But at least like a small like hand washing sink, maybe big enough to wash a few dishes or something. And I'll have like a 5-gallon jug up here that gravity feeds down to there. And I have it set up where the intake comes in this way, goes around, and then it pulls the air back out this way. So if somebody's in here and they're kind of smelling it up or something, the smells will go right out this exhaust right here, which will work really good. I thought about all this stuff a lot, probably too much. And eventually I think I'm gonna do some wood paneling on the inside here. And maybe I'll get to that in the next video, maybe not, we'll see. I know I'm definitely gonna set up everything electrically in the plumbing, and do the drawers, and yeah, I mean there's a lot of work just in doing that. Also, I need to dig a trench from here to the house to put several pieces of conduit in, because now I'm going to be feeding the house from here. So I left this little spot right here where I didn't put concrete, and I just put number 2 stone, and we're just going to run the conduit through here, and that way the panels from the roof come into here. And I'll have a shut-off switch right here. I'll have several of them actually, because we also got these panels here, those panels there, and I'm gonna also put my solar trailer right over here. I'm gonna bring that over, I'm just gonna set it up right here. That way that's 4 kilowatts that I can bring over and just hook it up pretty quickly. We'll have another piece of conduit from the inverter in there, feeding the house AC power. So I do need to get on that before the ground freezes completely. But luckily, I think the snow is going to make it so that we'll get a little bit more time to do that without rushing too much. That's what happened last year. The ground didn't even really freeze underneath the snow, like the whole winter time, because we immediately got feet of snow and that insulated the ground. So maybe we'll get lucky and that'll happen again. But I did wash off this bedrock here. So this is all bedrock, which is, I think that's really cool. And it goes out beyond here, so we'll wash that off eventually, and this will be like a nice little spot where you can sit out in the sun and warm up, because that bedrock will hit the sun and it'll be really warm. We also used a lot of boulders around here, which I thought was really kind of the look that we needed. So the layers on the roof, make sure that the rain stays outside of the roof and there's never any problem with water kind of going that way, because it'll always go that way. It's overhanging by at least 5 feet in all directions. On the back, it's overhanging by like almost 10 feet. So it just keeps the water away. And then I have the footing drains to keep the water from going under everything. And the footing drains are below the slab, so it should be very dry in there. Shouldn't have any problems. I put this stucco here. This is an insulated stucco. You're supposed to use the mesh with that, but it's literally starting to snow right now, and tomorrow we're gonna get a blizzard. I just didn't have time for that. We could do another coat with the mesh and get that all nice. So it is supposed to be very cold in the single digits at night here in a couple days. So I do need to get on getting all my stuff moved into here, because that was one of the main purposes, was to not have to use heat to heat up the batteries. So I definitely got to make another trip up here in the next week or so and get that all wrapped up. And we'll do a whole nother video on all that stuff. It'll be probably a pretty big video. I even want to put some lights like out here. Maybe some spotlights going that way. Definitely some can lights in here, can lights in there. Switches, outlets, all the whole thing. So like I said, up here, I'm not worried about water at all. I have everything with a 20 mil liner on top, even going that way and down, and then I sealed it, and then even coming down the sides, it's all waterproofed in, and that should work out really well. So I guess that's it for this video, guys, and I will catch you on the next one.